Good morning, everyone. Today's TIE Talk speaker is Ms. Wendi Casteel, the Senior Manager of Enterprise Security at Rivian. So please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about corporate security, which is very, very different than law enforcement working in the federal government. Once I'm done, you guys are going to realize there is a whole new world out there in security. You can be a techie, you can be a designer, you can work in culinary, you can be into purchasing and work in these industries that give you an amazing amount of opportunity to grow within the company, stay with the company for a long period of time like I did at Boeing for over 13 years, and then transition to a completely different field, satellites for me, not airplanes, and into the electric vehicle market. A little bit about me before we jump in. I love Deadpool, and he sums it up, maximum effort. But as long as you show up and do the very best you can today, that is good enough. And I don't know if anybody has ever said that to you. We can't be 100% all the time. You've got things going on in your life. Maybe your kid is sick, you have a cold, you've been out for a while. I'm thinking big picture, right? What you do today matters. And as long as you keep doing your best and trying it, giving your maximum effort, you're going to do just fine. So I live here in Tustin with my son, Max, and my husband, Brian. We also have Nana G, who is my mom and is very, very active in our lives, which we love. She and my husband and my son have been my biggest champions with my career. Now, that didn't come with a little bit of heartache when I announced to my mom that I was going to go be a special investigator for the Department of Alcohol Beverage Control. So Department of Alcohol Beverage Control is post-certified, meaning I was a sworn peace officer that went into bars and restaurants, liquor stores, and looked for people doing nefarious things. I was assigned to the Inglewood District Office. I don't know if you guys notice, I'm white, I have red hair and blue eyes, I don't fit in, but that didn't stop me. What I did do is I made myself valuable to that team by working as an undercover in USC, going into house parties, San Diego, going into house parties, and running major operations in Compton, utilizing undercover operatives to go into those places that I did not fit. It was a great time, but one night I was driving home and my husband, and I know the difference between literally and figuratively, literally passed me on the freeway going the other way because he was just getting off work, and I thought, I don't know, one day I'm gonna wanna put my son to bed. I didn't know I was gonna have a son at the time, but I wanted to be home. And I made the transition to go to Boeing as a corporate investigator. But that didn't come after getting my bachelor's in criminal justice at Cal State Fullerton. I actually chose to stay home because my mom and dad lived in Yorba Linda. I had very strong family ties, could have gotten into different schools, but I also recognized that I didn't want a lot of debt. I could get just as good education at Cal State Fullerton without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've also continued to receive certifications and be part of larger groups to grow my network and learn about such things as what we call at Rivian advanced threats. Advanced threats are known in the workplace a lot of times as active shooter. We call them advanced threats because it's not just about shootings, it's also about people driving into buildings, it's about people using hammers or in a factory a forklift to cause intentional damage to people. So I coined it advanced threat, so it encompasses everything. And I'm currently the subject matter expert for Rivian for the company in workplace violence and advanced threats. So I'm a certified fraud examiner. That means I can go into court after looking at a lot of documents, auditing, and I can actually testify that you have done wrong by following a paper trail. I worked in a group home as a counselor. I worked in the hotel industry for a very long time and absolutely loved it. So I think of my career in several stages, and that's why I talk about my early career, where I did many things, and you'll hear me talk that doing well in business and being successful is not just about money. It's not just about promoting. Oftentimes you have lateral steps to go up, and sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards. That's the hardest, but that's when you really learn who you are and what you're doing this for. I don't just work. I want you guys to realize that. I am, number one, a wife, a mother, and a daughter. Very small here. You know, I'm an employee and a boss, but I'm a leader, I'm a coworker, I'm a peer, and a mentor to those that I work with. I absolutely love dogs. You can see this was our dog Lincoln, who went on his first camping trip at 16 years old, and he was epic. When I built this presentation, I thought about what TIDE was, really delved into TIDE, and thought about how early in my career there wasn't a lot of opportunities to incorporate the elements that you're now learning in school. Even at Boeing, that's a 100-year-old company, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for technology. We were very, very much behind our times in the administrative part of the company. As I started to mention initially, I held several positions at Boeing. The first was a corporate investigator. Corporate investigators look at internal employees for violations of company policy or things outside of the company, such as laws that they violate. So when you think about a company that has 177,000 people, believe it or not, there is some bad stuff that is going on. It's the internal affairs of the police department, but in corporate investigations. So coming from law enforcement, it was a natural transition through our work to help support the business. Everything I do, I have to do to support the business. The business has to keep going. I care about my employees, I care about their families, but if people do something that harms the business, it really can have a direct impact on the stakeholders, the share price, all those things, which ultimately could mean the company folds. While I was there, corporate investigations, we did time fraud investigations, people playing Farmville, if you guys remember Farmville, on their computer when they should be working. I then transitioned into government security. Government security for Boeing is everything on the defense side. It's all their satellites, the rocket that they just launched. And it was interesting. It was a very difficult time to learn. There's a classified world and the unclassified world. And coming and not having any exposure to the classified world, you didn't want to mess up. You can't break protocol. You can't work on a classified computer or go into an area and think that it's the same. So I did a lot of learning. And this was interesting. I had applied for corporate investigations. Believe it or not, I wasn't selected the first time. I went back 4 months later, applied for the job again because a gentleman that had been hired got promoted, and I reapplied. So I left law enforcement, my dream, went in as a corporate investigator, had a setback, came back, said, this is what I want to do. The same thing happened to government security. I wanted to go up a level, from a level 4 to a level 5. My boss put me in for a promotion and I didn't get it. I was devastated. So as the emergency manager, I set up the Southwest region and I worked with those sites to come up with an emergency management program that would support any kind of natural or man-made disaster. My job was to make sure that the people, the assets, the property, and the environment were safe. So again, I think you guys have heard this theme from other speakers. Promoting isn't always about moving up. It's lateral up, lateral up. Every job I've had, I have lateraled over, taken on more responsibility for no more money, but did well, would get eventually a promotion or another job that took me to what I wanted to do. Boeing, I was there 13 years. As you can see my trajectory at Boeing, 13 years. I've now been at Rivian, going on my 4th year, and you can see it just keeps going. That is how fast the newer companies move, and that is how fast you have to be willing to be a utility player, which means you have a lot of skills and you go where you're needed, and you have to be able to provide value. This is where it gets exciting, at least for me. Tide and Rivian. We're going to watch about a 2-minute story with RJ. He's our CEO.
How old were you when you started the company?
26.
And you were like, I'm going to start a car company?
Yeah. How does this thing accelerate to 60 miles an hour faster than almost every Ferrari ever made? That's not an accident. That's super intentional technology that's been woven together into the vehicle. It's a business with a very low probability of success. You need 1,000 engineers, you need hundreds of suppliers, you need a really tight market position. Your first dollar of real revenue comes after spending $3 billion. We're living right now in a really weird state, leveraging sources of energy that accumulated on our planet for 200-300 million years. We as humanity, in less than 150 years, have used more than half of it. It's simply not a choice to move off of fossil fuels. The wrong answer is to tell people that want SUVs and trucks that they have to drive really small electric cars. The right answer is to say, drive the vehicle that you want. Oh, by the way, this now has a path to carbon zero. The goal is to build an adventure-oriented vehicle and rethink the truck and SUV space.
So I liked what they said there. You can't keep doing what you've always done. And as you saw there very, very clearly, all the technology that goes into our vehicles. It takes a lot of innovation. Design runs our company, and it takes brilliance of an entrepreneur and people to believe in him to do that. Rivian launched 3 vehicles in 1 year. Never in the history of automotive has anyone ever done that. And I get the opportunity to protect those vehicles from intellectual property, from someone that comes into our buildings that shouldn't be there, to the day-to-day keeping the workforce safe with interrelations. Our electric vehicle came off the line, our R1T, which is our truck, and our R1S became available to the public. Never, ever done before. And at that time, I was the emergency manager for Rivian. In March of last year, I had the unbelievable honor of protecting what is now known as R2, R3, and R3X. Again, never in the history of automotive has a company had the parents and now the children come out at the same time. If you will ever see a car come out and be shown to the world, they will not drive out. Our vehicles not only drove out on stage, the lights went on, the trunks popped open. We brought the cars in under the cover of darkness. It was as super secret as you can possibly imagine. We blocked off the streets. I coordinated with security to bring the vehicles into Laguna in trailers. And we literally had them covered in black sheets. And we used people to tell the driver in there how to get into our Laguna space. This is me at the R2 opening. It will be an unbelievable time for Rivian as these come off the line next year. R2 is smaller, about 45,000. R3 and R3X will then be even smaller and more affordable. So that's pretty cool. I've kind of talked a little bit about the day-to-day operations and what I do. If you're still kind of leery on what I do, I'm kind of with you. Yesterday, we had somebody do a demo drive by themselves, and the person didn't bring the car back. I'm not joking. This is what I did yesterday as the person is driving around Wilshire into Beverly Hills. With the technologies that's in the car, because they still belong to us, we were actually able to track those vehicles, and we were able to turn them off and brick them. So I do a lot of things, budget meetings, just like everyone has to do. I work on workplace violence. I wrote that policy. I have an amazing team of 2 people that help me for over 160 sites and keep them secure. It's a lot, but every day is different, and that is the fun part. This is where I think you can really see the opportunities for you. If you think about Tide, every single one of these verticals have some element of Tide in them. So manufacturing security is our plant. At Boeing, we had Everett, which is our factory. Technical security, we actually design and build our sites from the ground up by putting our CCTVs in, our card readers. Because I work in operations, I have to make sure that the end user, the people that work in the service centers or the spaces, they actually come in and it's safe and it works for them. So we design and build it. We use cameras, CCTVs. I secure that by mitigating the risk. And then our security operations center is what you would think of as 911. We have a fully functional operations center that supports us with door unlocks, access control, monitoring, and in normal, they dispatch 911 and they lead them into the site because it's big like a city. Lastly, we do have executive protection. Threats to business leaders are very, very real. So we need to keep our executive safe because, as you saw, he is the visionary of our company. Brand is everything to our company. Through our brand, we really draw on our customers. I think you guys have seen Rivian's out and about. Our headlights are a brand, just like Coca-Cola. The C is their brand. Disney has specific writing. What we want is everyone to think of Rivian, think of adventure, and then the car, because all of that is about a lifestyle.
Thank you so much, Ms. Casteel. Can we all give her a warm thank you, round of applause? Thank you.